Hey everyone, Mr. Tim here. Now welcome to your next lesson. This one is going to be focusing on athletics. Now we're going to focus on a little bit of discus. Now with our discus, it's quite a tricky one to do, especially you won't have any of the discus activities or equipment with you. That's fine, we can still work on our grip and our action really easily using our little piece of paper or sock that we've been using at home as well. So as you can see here with our sock, we can still use this for the same action. So I might demonstrate to you once with the sock and once with our proper practice discus that I have here in my little bucket of goodies. Alright, so when we're holding onto it, I might show you with our discus first, just to make it a little bit easier for you. When we hold onto our discus, our hand is always going to come over the top. Alright, it's different. We're not going to take a bite out of it like our hand's hungry. Hand's going to come over the top, resting our fingers over the back. Now, when our fingers are resting over the edge, it's going to be quite difficult. If you've got a pair of socks, it's going to be a little bit easier for you because you can squeeze those. But when you're holding our practice discus, you're going to have it a little bit harder, so you've got to really try and spread those fingers to hold on to that action. Now, a little bit of a trick question here. What finger do you reckon is going to be the last one to be touching the discus after we release it? I hope you can say pinky there. It's actually our index finger. Most common mistake you'll find with discus is people use their pinky as the last finger that touches the discus. We want to use our index finger. Alright, so we're going to do a little bit of a practice activity now, focusing on using our index finger. It's actually going to be an underarm roll. We've got our grip, our hand over the top, our fingers wrapping around the edges. Now we're going to get into our underarm position, point our front arm, point our front foot, and we're going to bend our back knee right down to the ground. Now when we go to do our action here, we're going to try and roll our discus out so it rolls over our index finger and we're pushing it out with our index finger. I don't want to see you spinning your hand backwards and the object spinning back towards you. It should be rolling away from you with this action, just like that. Alright, now I'll show you that one with the socks so you can see how it works. Same action, hand over the top, fingers underneath. Alright, all the same grip. Pointing my front arm, bending down. Alright, I'm making sure it comes out my index finger, not spinning back for my pinky, and out my index finger to go forward. That's the action I want you to try. Give that a go now. Alright everyone, how'd you go with that one? I hope no one was using their pinky and spinning their socks backwards towards them. Alright, make sure we're using that index finger. Alright, we're going to move on to our next level, our level 2. And this is going to start to incorporate our whole body. Alright, so what we need to focus on, everything's quite similar to our shot put technique or our overarm throw technique. So what we're going to do is we point our front foot, we point our front arm, remembering our grip, hand over the top, fingers around the outside. We're not taking a bite out of it, our hand is covering the top, and then we're bringing our arm right behind us. Think about your arms making like an aeroplane wings, but we're not an aeroplane flying straight, we're an aeroplane turning. Alright, so we've got our arm pointing towards the sky, our hand with the object is pointing down towards the ground behind us. Last thing we need to do is bend our back knee down. So from this position, we're then going to work through our motions. And again, it's a 3-step process. Legs, hips, arm. Except that arm's going to be a little bit different this time. So pointing that arm forward, leaning back with our arm behind us. When we go off our legs, we push off our leg, we rotate our hips, and then we're going to bring our arm all the way through to meet our hand in front to be our super position. Alright, so from low to high, all the way down and around. That is the action we're going to use. I might even show you side on as well, just so you can see how that looks as well. So pointing my front arm out, leaning back, in that position there. Alright, so I'm going to really point that front foot, point that front arm, bring my arm behind, and again the 3 steps. Legs, hips, bringing your arm all the way through. Remember, index finger should be the last finger touching it. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we might focus against a bit of the wall. I'm going to change over to my socks so it's nice and safe for an indoor area. Have my hand over the top, bringing my position back. Remember, bend that back leg, point your front foot and front arm, and really leaning behind. I've got my aeroplane arms. Now when my arm comes through to release, it needs to be nice and straight. I don't want to bend my arm at all or come underneath like I'm scooping for an underarm throw. It's going all the way around. It should pass my head right at our shoulder and head height, and continue going higher and higher as we work through our action. So pointing that front arm, leaning back, legs, hips, and then releasing out to the forward position. I want you to give that a go now. Try and move 5 or 6 and try and aim for the same spot every time. See how you go.